Picture 6 attacking players, including 3 number 10s positioned in front of the opposition's defence simultaneously, whilst positionally overloading one side of the pitch and having a fluid relationship on the other. It is exactly what Girona look to achieve while in possession, and have been the most fascinating team in La Liga to watch, whether they are playing home or away or against Barca or Real Madrid. They are currently second at the time of recording, outscoring every team in the league so far. The man behind these tactics is also interesting. 2 years ago, his dream at Girona was to get them out of the second tier, and they did that. They stayed up the next season, and this season, Girona have already beaten their best ever points tally in the Spanish top flight. But even he couldn't have dreamt of the position that Girona are currently in, pushing for the league title. Although he did warn us that Girona would be dangerous in La Liga, and he was right. So, let's break down some of the key factors in their play and understand how they have been able to dominate so many games this season. Let's reveal their secrets. To understand why the Girona players are so confident in this incredibly fluid and unorthodox system, we can understand the man a little behind the tactics. In his own words, the personal part is more important than the tactical part. It's very important. Every morning, the players tell one of our analysts how they slept, how they are in terms of their mood. We are interested in knowing how the player is doing before training. The work atmosphere in Girona is very good. It is key to know the personal side of the player. Michel's man management is superb. Because of this, even though Girona are not the complete side, Girona are able to achieve amazing things on the football pitch. So, the tactics. Their shapes during the 90 minutes are highly fluid and flexible. Take their 3-2-5 building shape for an example. Typically playing out from the back with a back 3 as the left back inverts, this shape suddenly becomes a 3-1-6 in attack with 3 attacking midfielders roaming in front of the opposition's defence. Incredibly useful against low blocks too. It is achieved by creating depth with the striker staying as high as possible and the width of the wingers stretching the pitch, thus creating space for the ball progression and positional movement. In the half spaces, there's a high level of roaming and positional rotation, making the structure fluid and difficult to deal with. The left back, typically Michel Girona, is responsible for adding that extra attacking midfielder and does a lot of roaming as Girona look to often create an overload on the right hand side. This leaves Savio, the left winger, high and wide on the left, and the left back or the left sided central defender, Daley Blind, to roam and find space as the opposition's defence has been shifted to one side. But this is also where we see more fluidity and relationism, players understanding others and where they are meant to be. The left-sided central defender, Daley Blind, understands left-back Michel Girona roles extremely well, knows when to cover for, rotate with, and when to join the attack, but so does the deep-line playmaker, Alex Garcia. Michel Girona has the complete freedom and has the license to pop up in all areas of the field, looking to be a numerical advantage, so he has to be covered for, and Garcia is excellent in shifting to the left, ensuring Girona still have that passing option when progressing and also have their breast defence structure somewhat intact. Creating numerical advantages in the midfield is something that Girona are strong at, as they look to retain possession, being a patient team, find passing combinations and rotate positions to bamboozle the marking team. Another area Girona are strong in is in the wider areas. Looking at the player profile, soon to be Manchester City winger Savio is excellent in 1v1 situations, possibly one reason why they look to overload the right and allow Savio space for the 1v1s. And the Ukrainian winger Sikenkov's role is more of an inside forward and combining entire areas, but they are both good crossers of the ball, so too is Jan Kuto, who aimed for the target man in the box, Artem Dovbyk, apologies if I'm butchering any names here, and this is done typically by creating wide overloads and underlaps, mostly involving a number 8, fullback and winger, but by now we understand this can be fluid. Girona's underlaps often cause trouble and confusion. Let's say one of the 8s underlaps, then his marker in midfield has to decide whether to track or not to track. If he does, he leaves space in front of the defence. If he doesn't track, then the 8 can make an unmarked run, which then a central defender has to decide whether he tracks or not. And if he tracks, again, he leaves his central defending position. So Girona aim to cause trouble all over the pitch, and Girona are patient with their build-up, sometimes overdoing it. But it's always with the purpose of moving the defending team and creating advantages, attacking the empty space, often also using the third man. Creating that +1 is clearly a game plan and a principle of Michel Girona. So, to summarize, Girona often use a back three when building up, and the shape on a low build up is often a 3-3-2-3 formation, and sometimes the goalkeeper can even join the build up and make it a back four, always outnumbering the opposition. Moving forward into the high build up and into the attacking phases, then the shape suddenly changes into a 3-1-5-1 or a 3-1-6, with Miguel Gutierrez making that difference, being the extra midfielder, attacking midfielder. By having this numerical advantage, Girona can then look to use the third man to be able to progress the ball forward. They also look to build up in those wider areas, mostly down on the right hand side, and create wider overloads and triangles, again to combine in those little tight areas, work the ball out wide, cross the ball for the chance creation, where Girona are absolutely dominant with Artem Duvbek inside the middle of the box. I've probably butchered his name once again. And when defending, Girona aren't necessarily the most aggressive high pressing team. A lot of the times they will drop into a sort of 4-4-2 formation and set up in the mid block. But when watching against Barcelona, I often saw that they had 5 at the back, again showing the fluidity within their system, whether it is in possession or out of possession. Can Girona go on to win the league? Only time will tell, but if possible, it would be an incredible achievement. We've seen Leicester do it in the Premier League, but what's different and more impressive about Girona is the style of football that they are putting on. There are some weaknesses, sometimes they can be caught out on the counter, and even looking at the back line, they don't necessarily have any aerially dominant defenders, so it's another area where they can concede goals, especially on set pieces. But Michel's Girona are definitely the top 3 exciting teams in Europe right now, and of course he's going to drum up some interest, especially at Barcelona with Xavi leaving at the end of the season. But that was the tactical analysis. Let's look at the Football Manager tactic. If you do like what we are doing on this channel, then please consider supporting through Patreon, only if you can afford it. Special thanks to Tom Matthews, Intercept, Cookie, Charlevoix, Tom Meredith and Cohen Burgers for recently signing up. We do have a community where we're talking tactics, and I do upload clips and share recent updates of the tactic that I'm currently doing. And of course, Patreons also have sort of a priority when it comes to manager tactical requests. If you do consider supporting, I'll see you there. Let's use Football Manager to go through the player roles. Don't worry about the crazy formation. There is a method to this madness. For an example, if we do want to create that 3-4-3 diamond in midfield, then simply the attacking midfielder, the central one, can go forward. We still have him on the right hand side, and then our inverted wing back will be cutting inside here as well. And especially if we want to create 3 number 10s, then I want my inverted wing back to get further forward into this little hole here, have the right central midfielder entering that little half space there as well, and that is why we have this crazy starting formation. For the goalkeeper, we are going to go with the sweeper keeper on attack. There's not really any other role that we can go for if we want to try and get our goalkeeper to be involved in the build-up and move forward and be happy with the ball at his feet. In order to build with a back 3, one of these guys have to be an inverted fullback, so we are going to choose the right back. Though Yan Couto sometimes does get further forward and put crosses into the box, there's not much we can do, so we can use an inverted fullback, or you can use a fullback on defend actually and ask him to sort of run wide with the ball, cross more often as well, and then ask him to sit more narrow when we are building out from the back. So a fullback on the fen is an option, and you also got inverted fullback on the fen. Now looking at the central defenders on the right hand side, we're just going to use the standard central defender, making sure he can sort of retain possession, making sure we keep it at the back, recycling it. And then the left side of central defender, we have a ball playing defender, and we're going to ask him to stay wider, daily blend. Of course, when the inverted wing back looks to get further forward, we want our ball playing defender to then shift over. Again, we want to have a sort of back 3 shape looking just like this, especially with the inverted wing back getting further forward. So for the Miguel Gutierrez role, we are going to go with the inverted wing back on attack, no added instructions. Now in the build up, he can either join the holding midfielder and have a 3-2, something that Girona does do in real life. And as we do progress with the team, I want him to get further forward and start underlapping the winger and just being involved in our attacking play. Now for the holding midfielder, we are going to use a deep line playmaker for the Garcia role. Again, just holding his position in front of that back three, helping the rest defense as well. As we attack, if we lose the ball, he should be in position in front of that back three to try and stop any counter attacks. He keeps things ticking. He keeps things ticking. Now in central midfield, we are going to use a central midfielder on attack to create depth. We want one of our midfielders to sort of get further forward and stay high as well, trying to push the opposition back and create space in the midfield for us to progress and to get those sort of underlapping runs and half space. Girona are very strong at attacking the half space. One role we can use is the Mazzala on support. Now, when it comes to their instructions in central midfield, we are going to ask the central midfielder to roam from his position, but the Mazzala will be running wide with the ball. Try and link up with the right winger and also try and create some little or minor overloads on the right hand side for us to be able to switch to the left. Now for Savio, the left winger, we have the winger role on support. His main duty is to stay out wider, and when he gets the ball, try and beat his man in the 1v1 and get the ball into the box for our striker. The right winger will be an inside forward on support, and then we're going to go to his added instructions and ask him to stay wider. Now lastly, for the striker Artem Dovbyk, I think I have about 10 different pronunciations for him. We are going to use a target forward role in Football Manager, a role that we don't actually see a lot being used in this game, but it has been highly effective, and we're going to ask the striker to shoot more often as well. Now for the style of play, the positive mentality. I did boost this when it comes to the second half of the season though, as teams start to sit back. The attacking width is set to wide. I want the pitch to be stretched as big as possible. Try and play in those wider areas as well, and that should allow for some Roman movements in midfield, creating numerical advantages all over the gaff. For the approach play, we are going to play out from the back against some of the bigger teams. You don't necessarily have to do this. Girona sometimes will look for Artem Dovbyk. The passing directness is on shorter and the tempo is set to standard. With the positive mentality, they will be knocking the ball about patiently. In the final third, we are trying to work the ball into the box because we do have a target forward. Players might be naturally inclined just to whip crosses from all over the gap, but we do want to wait for the right moment to put the ball into the box. Otherwise, it can be easy to defend against. And then for the dribbling, we are going to run at the defenders. In transition, when the possession has been lost, counter press and counter when the ball has been won. And then for the goalkeeper, I just want him to mainly look for the centre backs when distributing. Don't forget, we do have a target forward though up front. He can be useful. And lastly, out of possession, Girona will operate in the mid block, so that's what we are going to do in Football Manager with a much more often trigger press, get stuck in as well. That sort of just helps the results be better in the game. And lastly, for the cross engagement, we are looking to stop the crosses because we don't have no aerially dominant central defender. It is one way we can concede goals if we allow crosses into our box. Now up against the bigger teams away from home, some of the roles did change slightly. The Mazzala now is on attack. The mentality has dropped to balance. We are still looking to play out from the back, but the passing directness has also sort of boosted up a little, and now we are being more expressive because the expression has been toned down a little bit from us reducing the mentality. So that's the tactic in Football Manager. That's the player roles. How did it do in the game though? In La Liga, we did finish second with 84 points, winning 25 games out of our 38. The 4 losses all coming away from home. Away games on this game is just ridiculous. But Dovbyk, as we can see, is the top goal scorer in the league, and looking at the average rating as well, he is top 3, as well as our right winger and Alex Garcia. The two Ukrainians at Girona topping the average rating. We did score the most goals in the league as well with 83, which is 12 more than the league winner. winners, Atletico Madrid. I believe they won the league. Yeah, they did win the league. We did have the third most shots for, the fewest shots against. We dropped down to 6, but we have to bear in mind Girona were predicted to finish 14th, so just below that mid-table. And we're looking at the most possession as well. We are sitting 8th with 54%. We did hold the ball a little bit more than our opposition. The most clean sheets, we are joint 5th, and for the fewest conceded, we are joint 3rd. Because he is rumoured to join Barcelona, I did try it at Barcelona before. I kind of got bored because the Barcelona one was a simulation. I did play 22 games though, winning 18, drawing 4 and losing 0. But let me just show you the target forward. Look at the stats. Robert Lewandowski, 24 goals in 22 games as the target forward. And again, the average rating, top 3 are all Barcelona players. So similar story, scored the most goals, but this time, of course, being Barcelona, we have scored a lot more goals. We had the most shots for, the fewest shots against, and for the possession, we have boosted up or jumped up into 4th place again with some better players. Training has also helped me, and once again, I do have some training schedules to kind of go with the tactic. You don't have to use this if you don't want to. For me, it just made the test feel a bit more real. So there are going to be 2 tactics in the tactic folder. When results do start to get a bit sour, as we can see here in January, I suffered a couple draws, but also a loss in the Copa del Rey, a game that we shouldn't be losing in. I did boost the mentality to attacking or very attacking, which we can see here again. Then we started to regain some form, winning 4-0, 4-0 again against Mallorca, and a 2-1 against Alaves. But that there's the end of the video. Once again, shout out to the Patreons. Please consider supporting through Patreon if you can afford it. Make sure you like this video. Also in the comment section, leave comments down below. I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. God bless. Peace out.